One must not discuss the transfer of wartime OPCON with the ringleaders of an illegitimate regime. Approaching the OPCON transfer, which could be the decisive blow leading to the ruin of the Republic of Korea. Pursued by Lee Jae-myung solely as a means to reduce the burden on the United States, overlooks the very essence of national security. The ROK-USA Combined Forces Command System is not merely a matter of cost. It is a powerful war deterrent capable of immediately utilizing the strategic assets and intelligence of the USA military, the strongest in the world. Furthermore, it is utterly preposterous to even mention the OPCON transfer, when it is being promoted by Lee Jae-myung, an illegitimate individual acting as president. If the OPCON transfer is carried out under an illegitimate ringleader, it would be akin to opening the door for a robber and handing him a lethal weapon. Under this illegitimate regime, where the rule of law has completely collapsed into a state of ringleader rule, an unprepared and premature transfer cannot escape the criticism that it would cause an extremely dangerous security vacuum amidst escalating North Korean nuclear threats. The attempt to claim the role of mediator or pacemaker in the North Korean nuclear issue, a role also pursued by the Moon Jae-in ringleader regime, is inevitably a deliberate act of inciting a rift in the ROK-USA coordination. While the North's will for denuclearization remains unclear, a ringleader regime wearing the mask of the Republic of Korea acting under the guise of mediation will ultimately result in weakening the international community's cooperation on sanctions and merely buying time for North Korea. While self-reliant defense, following economic growth, is certainly a long-term goal, a sudden shift in policy before military capabilities such as realistic and concrete independent satellite intelligence networks and strategic strike capabilities are fully equipped is an extremely dangerous deception. It is a trick of a wolf pursuing the great goal of ruining the Republic of Korea, while wearing the mask of a gentle sheep and offering seemingly soft vegetables. National security policy must be promoted cautiously based on Article 5, Mission of the National Armed Forces, and Article 6, Observance of Treaties of the Constitution. Deploying unverified security logic for the sake of political rhetoric risks endangering the state's fundamental duty to protect the lives of its peoples. In the intense arms race among neighboring powers in Northeast Asia, both nations must not be deceived by these acts of false hypocrisy that shake the pillar of the ROK-USA alliance. Rather, based on the ROK-USA Mutual Defense Treaty, both nations should exert their utmost efforts to liquidate the clearly illegitimate ringleader regime. National security is a cold reality, not a wish, and the rule of law in the Republic of Korea is directly linked to the existence of the state. It is a grave matter that the USA government authorities must not overlook the heavy and clear fact that the legitimate president was deprived of her seat through illegal means, imprisoned, and is now pushed aside in de facto house arrest, a reality of lawlessness in this country. National security must be carefully reviewed based on the trust of the alliance and an objective analysis of threats underlying the ROK-USA alliance, setting aside the political interests of both nations. We are the guardians of the Constitution and the Institute for National Wealth and Military Strength, who have denounced the ringleader regimes with perfect legal logic following the usurpation of power from President Park Geun-hye. Through numerous documents, we have already informed that President Park Geun-hye is the legitimate leader, whereas Moon, Yoon, and Lee are clearly unlawful ringleaders of illegitimate regimes. Because such well-organized legal logic exists, even if we call someone whom 10,000 people revere as president a ringleader, sugoi, shokui, we do not face legal sanctions. This shows that the remaining formal laws are still protecting human rights. Therefore, based on the ROK-USA Mutual Defense Treaty, the foundation of the alliance, we are making a desperate appeal to the United States and the relevant authorities, including the commander of the USA Forces Korea USFK, to declare a state of war in the Republic of Korea, which is on the verge of ruin through irregular warfare, and to exercise the necessary wartime operational control. If one understands the situation as legitimate President Park Geun-hye versus the illegitimate ringleaders Moon, Yoon, and Lee, the ally must no longer be left in danger. Leaving the Republic of Korea continuously in danger would be a betrayal of the global will to defend freedom. Records show that of the 37,902 total UN casualties in the Korean War, 33,686 were Americans, and 137,899 were South Koreans. If you have not forgotten that sacrifice for the freedom of mankind as an ally, you must urgently rescue the Republic of Korea from the final stages of irregular warfare. Although our organizations, the Guardians of the Constitution and the Institute for National Wealth and Military Strength, consist of a very small number of gathered patriotic peoples, each person is fulfilling the role of 1,000 or 10,000. most of the 50 million Korean people's 500,000 military personnel and 1.17 million public servants do not yet even recognize the fact that the illegal impeachment of the president by the National Assembly and the Constitutional Court opened the door for ringleader regimes. In this situation, even the judgment of a few based on righteous law must not be buried in the stupidity of lawlessness and ignorance. While 10,000 people recognize them as president and the world recognizes them as representatives of the Republic of Korea, we are not unaware of the legal responsibilities that come with defining Moon, Yoon, and Lee as clearly illegitimate ringleaders. Just as the cry of enemy from a single sentry at the front cannot be ignored, the desperate cry we shout as peoples of the Republic of Korea and as members of both nations of the ROC-USA alliance must never be ignored. It is a struggle for the lives of the peoples of the Republic of Korea to live safely according to the law, and it is the role of a pioneer informing the people of the world that the completion of communization through regular warfare has arrived at our doorstep. We once again urge all mankind who respect Global Freedom Commander of the USA Forces, Korea, immediately exercise wartime operational control in the Republic of Korea and fulfill your duty to rescue 50 million peoples from the ruin of communization.
벅차게 노래 불러 자유대